Halloween Melsa is a 5-star limited wind lance unit, and in my opinion is not a very good unit. That's all from me. Moga out. Okay, I'll continue on the unit analysis. Melsa was originally a welfare fire dagger unit with a shy personality that is considered cute to most people. As a welfare unit, her original form is relatively decent. Her Halloween variant should have been at least a little bit better than her original counterpart, but unfortunately she just misses all the check boxes for a good unit. Let's roast her kit in further detail. Spooky Revival costs around 4800 SP and provides a 25% strength buff to the whole team for 15 seconds. When compared to similar skills from Tobias, Noel and Templar Hope, the SP cost is a lot higher on Melsa, which is suboptimal. The only thing she is slightly better at is that the buff is universal, just like Ellison's skill 1. When compared to Ellison has buff time that made her a go-to support unit. This skill is just not as good as similar skills out there. Overall, this skill is easily outclassed by other support units that have similar skills. Venom Bite deals a measly 420% damage and inflicts poison. The skill also reduces the poison resistance of enemies by 10% for 30 seconds. For a cost of 6800 SP, this skill is unique, but not in a really positive sense. The damage modifiers are extremely low, and the poisoning skill doesn't have a good uptime. The resist reduction is actually decent, especially in long fights as the enemy builds up poison resistance over time. So far Master Ciela is the only stage that allows this skill to shine, but outside of that, this skill doesn't perform really well. Overall, this skill is decent, but with a relatively high SP cost. Skill haste is necessary if you wish to use her at all. Her co-ability is generic, while her chain co-ability is honestly quite good, and is better than most units out there. For abilities, Halloween Melsa has 2 unique abilities, with the non-unique ability being her immunity to frozen, which is handy in Ciela fights. Her first unique ability, Endurance of the Dead, fills 80% of her HP when revived. This is in contrast with the around 30 to 40% in typical revivals. Honestly, this skill is pretty useless. This is because most battles can end with no casualties, meaning that this ability is left unused most of the time. The only positive thing about this ability is that it matches her zombie costume really well. Her last ability, Poison equals Team Strength, provides a 10% strength buff for 10 seconds upon successfully inflicting poison, which isn't that useful on Melsa as her poisoning skill has a high SP cost. This ability is better suited for units that can spam poison a lot faster. Though being a support unit, she lacks a lot of the characteristics of a proper support unit. She can't even be used as an attack unit due to her low modifiers. If you want to use her, I recommend the typical support abilities, with heavy emphasis on skill haste and buff time, to make her much more usable. For dragons, I only recommend Freya and Ariel with their skill haste abilities. For Wimprints, the ones shown here are typical of support loadouts, but you can try to match the affinities to get extra buffs, especially skill haste and buff time abilities. If my disappointment isn't obvious already, I'll tell you that Halloween Melsa is just terrible, especially considering that there are better units out there that perform similarly to her but better, especially Tobias. An analogy to describe her is a product that looks good from the outside but lacks substance and value. This also applies to Halloween Akasha, though to a much lesser extent. Overall, she requires more investment and effort to perform half decent, especially when compared to her competition, and being limited, you might as well go for other wind supporters or even Ellison for a good buff bot. Now I shall go out there and ask myself, why did I throw out lots of Wimite for her, just to suffer? That's all from me. Moga out.